All right. So, welcome to the post game. The Knicks win 113-111 against the Bulls. They overcome superstar Josh Giddey's heroic performance for Chicago and are able to emerge victorious in an overtime victory on the first night of a back-to-back. So, kind of, I don't want to say they needed this one, like they had to have it, but considering you're playing Cleveland tomorrow, it's nice to bank this one, given I'm thinking Josh Hart will play tomorrow and OG will play tomorrow, but we don't know. So banking this win was necessary and big, but obviously not the ideal way to to start the second. I guess it's not even the second half of the season. It's like the back third of the season. But Knicks win, so that's the important thing. What else is important is that BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to the NHL and UFC, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every three-pointer to hat trick, BetOnline is you cover the odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.
BetOnline, the game starts here.
Thanks, Tyrese. This was a weird game. I'd really like. Some of it is like the Knicks. I mean, to be fair, neither team could shoot in the first half. Neither team. They both picked it up in the second half. The Bulls more so from three. The Knicks more so in the form of Karl Anthony Towns not taking the dumbest fucking shots ever when he drove. So that was good. Mikal Bridges hit some. I mean, he had a pretty big stretch in the start of the fourth quarter to keep the Knicks going. Brunson kind of carried them in the first half. He did not have a great second half. Did hit the biggest shot of the game, arguably, to tie the game at 104 at the end of regulation. And then Mikal Bridges, Mr. Five first-round picks himself, saves the game. Most important play of the game, blocks Vooch when it looked like he was about to get a layup right at the end of regulation. So really, really great job by him. I thought he did a great job defensively the entire game. On Kobe White and really whoever he was matched up on. So offensively, I would love to see more from him, but defensively, he's really, I think he's been really bringing it now for a while. I want to bring this up. This is from Will _Nets_hater. He said, Deuce owns Tyrese, by the way. It's true. It's true. Deuce did own you tonight. You have to accept that for at least one night. Deuce McBride owns you. But yeah, he played he played a good game. He had a couple of huge shots to kind of bail out dead possessions, one in overtime. And I just thought his defense was really, really active. I thought this even going out prior to the break, but he just looks, when he's played recently, his defense looks back to what it looks like when he's at his best. He looks like he's moving better. He looks like he's got more pop. So hamstring's probably feeling better. So good job by him. And then, look, again, we can do the Precious thing again, but like, it's too many minutes for Precious. Personally, I would have liked to see us not just play double big the entire game, given the opponent and the makeup of their lineups, but we did. And in that environment, I think you basically have to just take what Precious gave you. And to be fair to him, thought he played some great defense on that final possession at the end of overtime. Was able to get Kobe White in the air, threw them out of rhythm. That basically ended the game. So, you got contributions from everybody. Obviously, Karl Anthony Towns goes crazy in the third quarter. What do you have, like 21 in the third quarter? And then he went crazy again in overtime to kind of carry us. But, you got contributions from basically everybody that played tonight in some capacity. Delon Wright, shout out to him. 2 possessions, no points. Elite defensive rating for him. And you just got to take that for what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you take it how you get them. Like you said, really good game from Cat in the second half. The first half was abysmal, and Brunson was able to
he looked like he was like fucking. He was playing like he was like on fucking ketamine. Like whatever Elon Musk was on today, that's what it looked like Cat was on in the first half.
All right. I was gonna say he looked insanely hyper, but yeah, we'll go with ketamine. Sure. I was not expecting that. Holy shit. But yeah, I thought whatever the hell he was doing in the first half was unique to say the least.
Did you like his first shot attempt of the game? Just no fucking reason. Like one step inside the arc with like 17 seconds left. He's just like, yeah, fuck it. I'm letting this one rip. I was like,
he's like, yeah, we're back, baby. Post All-Star break. I think he forgot he wasn't playing the All-Star game. He just decided to pop something.
That shit.
And then Jalen Brunson's like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, shoot the ball. And then Jalen Brunson was like, oh, I was in San Francisco last week. They just took turns.
It was
sharing
pretty
funny.
Fucking the 3-pointer he took from the logo. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You're like 1 for 6. And that's the shot you take right now.
Dude, like, I know. He's like, you guys said take more threes. I'm doing what you guys said. I took 10. And all of them were bad.
It was a game. I think that's what we could say about tonight. It was certainly a game. They
didn't deserve to win this game, too.
No, you know what? We did deserve to win it because it is so fucking annoying. I've watched Josh Giddey play like 10 games this year against anybody else other than Knicks. And not at Madison Square Garden. He can't hit a shot. Every time this motherfucker comes to the Garden, he turns into like fucking SGA or something. It's fucking crazy. Like he hit 4 fucking threes today. I mean, 5. 4 of 6. Was it 5? Yeah, he had 1 in overtime, right? So 5 fucking threes today.
It was only 4.
What did he go? 4 of 6? Was it 4 of 6?
4 of 6. Yeah,
4 of 6 from 3. In the second, like he's just bulldozing his way to the rim, hitting all these like nice like finesse shots off the glass and shit. Like, give me a break. Give me a fucking break with this guy. Like, we have to deal with this bullshit. We got to deal with Jeremy fucking Sohan on Christmas going 3 for 3 from behind the arc. Like, and I gotta say, like, there's a lot of games where I'll just be like, well, they played bad defense, and you know, you're letting guys get into a rhythm and blah. I don't even think the defense was bad tonight. Like when he started going off, like it was just. He just went off, and it's I don't know. It was very, very frustrating. But yeah, I mean the Knicks get out with the W. I have no idea what the hell the Bulls were doing at the end of the game. In regulation overtime, like they kept having Lonzo and Vooch run pick and rolls. It was very odd. Shout out to Lonzo for that fucking dribble he took to let Precious get a decent closeout on him. I will say, like, I really like Lonzo. And you shouldn't judge anybody on one game, but this is like the first time I have really extended watched him this year. And I don't know, like that was certainly an experience. I will say that it was certainly an experience watching him play.
Man, I don't like the fact
he's trying to like play down his trade value so he can force his way to the Knicks. That's fucking real. But yeah, I mean, it was an odd game. I don't really know what else to say other than that. Like, you just have to like. I think the main takeaway I have is that I think Tibbs should be mixing and matching a little bit more with his lineups when we're at full strength. I actually think Shaman. I know he didn't. I don't know what did he have, like 5 points today. He didn't do anything major. 7, but like I actually thought he played well, and I think he's looked. Yeah. Sharper the last few games that he's gotten opportunities.
The threes are going down.
Yeah, that's and weird. I just like how he's defending. I like that they're switching more when he's on the floor, so I think that makes his life easier. And they're switching more in general right now, which is a good thing. But yeah, Huck Porty. I mean, we haven't mentioned him, but I thought he was.
They finally did the thing, by the way. They finally did the thing where it's like, oh, we can play Huck Porty at the 5 with Cat on the floor, and then we can take Huck Porty off and put Precious back in. There was like the stretch in the fourth was the only time he did Huck Porty Precious, and I was like, I will take the fact that you're doing this for 5 minutes, even though it almost lost us the game. But I think he actively tried to limit playing Huck Porty and Precious together, which was like progress.
I mean, there was even a really good set they ran where Huck Porty screened for Towns in the pick and roll. And the Towns was able to get downhill. So I think he got an and 1 on that. But yeah, Huck Porty, his activity was just there to see. And honestly, like somebody said in our Discord, I forget who, but like after watching Cat defend pick and rolls all year, it was pretty nice watching Huckporty defend pick and rolls where he was like moving his feet and had his hands up and active. It was pretty cool. Yeah,
got a block. Oh, we got a block from our center. Like we have rim protection. Oh my god! I was encouraged by his play. I'm not gonna lie. Like I thought he played really well. I thought the fouling was a little ticky tack. Like I didn't think he really fouled on a lot of those possessions, but I thought
the one that Monica highlighted where she's like, "Oh, that's odd." Like he gets contact there. I was like, I don't think he touched him. Like I don't know why he didn't challenge. I would have challenged that one. I thought that was a pretty terrible call, and we had imminent possession or whatever after, so we would have gotten the ball. I don't know. I thought that was a weird one, and that felt like a pretty significant point in the game because if I remember correctly, that was when the Bulls were down 7 in the fourth quarter. So they get that foul and they make he makes up both free throws, so it cuts to 5. But like that just felt like a missed opportunity. I don't really know why he didn't challenge that, but whatever. It doesn't come back to bite the next. But yeah, Huckporty looked good. He looked good, and man, you can just see his screening. Like he's a fucking monster, man. Once he like kind of settles down a little bit because he still runs into his pick and roll, like his screens a lot. So you're always in danger of picking up a moving screen or illegal screen there. But he's a big fucking body, man, and he just gives them something that they have lacked all year in terms of his like sheer physicality, size, athleticism. I mean, the way he was moving today in space, he looked really, really good. And we've talked about this before too. Like you compare how he's moving now, even to what he looked like in summer league, and it's impressive. So, should he have played over Jericho Sims prior? Probably. Why he did? Yeah, I'm not gonna like lose my mind about it. I think there's clearly an element of like, one, I think they wanted to do right by Jericho. Like, hey, it's kind of his contract year effectively. Let's give him a chance. And then obviously if you want to trade somebody, you kind of have to like, you have to play them a little bit. So whatever. I think at the end of the day, this just proves, or not proves, but like it lends some more credence to the idea that the Knicks are pretty good at development. And well, we can debate how many minutes they give young guys, how fast, like how slow or fast, or how they introduce them into the rotation. Is it good and is it fast enough? Like, I don't think there's any question though that their results with what they do is impressive. I mean, this is a 58th pick, right? Deuce McBride is the 36th pick. Quickly was 25th. Grimes was 25th. You look at like their successes in the draft. These are guys like even Jericho Sims, 58th pick. Like you got value out of that guy for like 4 years, considering what you paid him and all that shit. So at the end of the day, like, again, we can take issue with how they, how Tibbs uses these guys and those things. And obviously we talked about this for years, especially with as regards to Quickly, but even Grimes at various points and Deuce and whatever. But these guys develop into quality NBA players if they buy in. And that matters.
I'd also say that if you're a young guy and you're coming into the league, I think the fact that the Knicks slow play it is probably pretty helpful for your development. Knowing that immediately you're not going to be like given all these expectations, and you have the opportunity to grow, and like they're going to try to make sure you get to your second contract. I think the fact that they respect the fact that you want your second contract is really good for development purposes.
It's also probably good with agents. Like I'm sure that plays well with agents. Like they didn't need, like, if we're going to be real, they didn't need to trade Grimes last year. They traded Grimes, one, because he was acting like a fucking asshole. But two, they were like, all right, like if this guy's just going to be a fucking asshole, we don't have time for this. Let's send him somewhere he can play and move on with it. Right. Like they basically did this with Quickly, where it's like, hey, we're not going to pay you. So we're going to find a way to move you to a team that will pay you and give you the role that you want. Like they do this
with Obi.
Yeah, with Obi, they took care of Obi. They sent him to like pretty much the team in the NBA that is best suited to get value from him, right? They did it with Sims this year, to be quite honest. And like the only person they were like, yeah, fuck that, we're just signing you to the fucking indentured servitude contract was Deuce. They're like, yeah, no. You're gonna sign your second contract with us, and it's gonna look like you might want to fire your agent after that, actually. But no, it was, yeah, they've done a decent job, obviously, with this stuff. And again, I don't think any team is perfect with development and all that stuff, but you got to genuinely look at their overall track record the places in the draft they got in value from, and how those guys have contributed on the floor for the Knicks. It's, again, proof is somewhat in the pudding with that. Like, I'm just going to trust them on it because the track record is good enough that I think you can kind of defer to authority there.
Also, they made Cam Reddish playable, and that was an act of God itself. So, if you can make Cam Reddish playable, you can develop talent. So I would not worry about that too much. Deuce had a good game. Okay,
let's get to some comments here. From Kevin Danishevsky. Schwinn, I hope you massacred. Wow, it's getting real dark here. Schwinn, I hope you massacred Tyrese for his awful Deuce for Colin Sexton takes.
It's Black History Month, bro. Let's chill out.
And to honor that, we're getting a statue of Kobe Bryant. How special is that? See, he cares, dude. He cares so much.
Not the guy I would probably put up congressionally on a pedestal, but you know what? What do I know?
Hey, it's Matt Gates' party, right? Hilarious game. Breen, he was 3 for his last 30 coming in, but he's 7 of 8 tonight every fucking time. Yeah, look, that was, again, I don't really know what to say about the Giddey thing. As far as, I think if you were like actually giving Tyrese truth serum, I don't think his actual take is that Deuce sucks. He would like somebody. I think you want somebody who can create, though, which I understand. I do think the Knicks need somebody else who can create, but they were kind of hamstrung at this deadline after the moves they made. So it is what it is. Like, that guy was not available to them, and that kind of option is not available to them. And I will say, like, I'm still fully expecting them to sign TJ Warren, and we'll see what he has. But like, if you're trying to take a long shot on somebody who can create and maybe can give you some juice offensively off the bench, TJ Warren, he's been playing all year in the G League. He's been putting up numbers. So
he just put up numbers today. He put up numbers today. He had like 31, 7, and 6.
I mean, he's always just been a guy that can create, right? And you can see Tibbs, like, we know this guy fucking loved Alec Burks. TJ Warren is like,
he looks like him.
I mean, he does. Dude, even the way he shoots is like so similar to Burks. It's crazy. But like, there is, like, they had a similar kind of a herky-jerky nature to their game as scorers. And I could see that, if TJ Warren isn't completely cooked, the Knicks being able to get some value out of that. But we'll see. I mean, look, I've never really been that worried about Deuce this year. I think he's got real limitations in his game, obviously. But I also I've never really been that concerned about his 3-point shooting. I think he's got a long enough track record going back to college that you can kind of trust in the long run that'll kind of work itself out. He's got to be better around the rim. He had another awful take today in overtime in transition. Like, you either pass that off to Mikal or just, like, do something better than whatever the fuck he did there. But the defense looks better to me. I trust the 3-point shooting. Thought it was weird he didn't get used as a screener more today, because we know that's something he's good at with Brunson. But yeah, I mean, if this is the level you can get from Deuce consistently for the rest of the season, he fits well into, like, basically any different alignment you want to put him in on this team.
Yeah, I mean, he's a serviceable NBA player. You can't complain when you can get quality NBA play from your backup guard. But I mean, yeah, I think Deuce had a good game. I thought Deuce had a productive game. I thought it was really good for his confidence. To kind of see the ball go within the net, to see him with an extended role and some usage. He had a 3x3 game. Not as good as a 5x5 game, but a 3x3 game is still good nonetheless.
Some of his blocks were like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. He looked like he got his spring back. He looked like way more explosive than we've seen him this year. So the one he had on Giddey was that was very satisfying.
I just think it's hilarious. He's a guard defender, and the team with all guards came to the Garden, and all of a sudden he found a force multiplier. But that's just me. I'm always a hater. But yeah, I thought he played really well. Should we start Deuce going forward? No.
Yeah, John Larry asked, should we start Deuce going forward? I don't think he needs to start. Like, one, I find this conversation extremely reductive, because, like, it's not as if the guys starting over him are bad. This is not, fucking Kemba starting over quickly or something. Like these guys are actually good players starting over him. What I will say is I would like to see him be mixed and matched more into certain lineups. Yes. I would like to see it be okay on nights where Josh Hart decides he doesn't want to play defense, that Deuce get an honest shot in lineups, in place of him, or nights if Mikal doesn't have it going. Like, I think he needs to be mixed and matched more and get more minutes that way. And he doesn't need to start to do that. Now, if Tibbs can only do that if he starts, that's a separate discussion to me. But he doesn't need to start to get the appropriate minutes and to diversify our lineups as much as I think we should moving forward.
Yeah, I think they should play him. I just don't think you need to start him in order to get that effect. Again, I feel like this is a larger conversation on Tibbs, if anything, but I think the idea is essentially Deuce should be able to slot in for 2 or 3 or potentially even 4 if you want to get a little funky and wild.
Well, you can slot him in for a 4. Like you could play him. So you could
slot him in for
right. You take out OG, you put Deuce in, but then you just slot Hart at the 4 defensively or whatever.
Like he has the ability to you could essentially mix and match between all the starters minus Cat, and that should be something that the Knicks look to do. They should trust him to play with the starters because realistically, he's best when he gets to play off of somebody who could create advantages. And Brunson is the best advantage creator and arguably the only advantage creator on the team. So putting him in a situation where he does get minutes next to Brunson, he does get minutes next to Hart, being able to bed defenses and transitions so he can hit above the break pull-up 3 or transition 3s. I think that would be valuable, and I think that would help the Knicks. And he's a good player. I think he helps the Knicks. I just do not think he needs to start to do that because I do think that Hart provides things that, you saw it today. We could not fucking rebound to save our fucking lives.
There was also the other thing that I just like about playing Deuce more is it allows Mikal Bridges to get off the ball. And just not have to defend the point of attack 48 fucking minutes. So there's value to that too. And I think the Knicks need to not forget the Knicks. This is something Tibbs needs to do, and he either will or he won't. There's really nothing else to say other than that. Jordan Bubb posts this players with 3+ steals, 3+ blocks, and 5+ threes in the game this season. Brook Lopez, Deuce McBride. That's it. Interesting, very eclectic list there.
Wonder where that came from.
Yeah, maybe somebody with an alcoholic beverage is their last name. Tibbs on Bridges block, big time. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
look, he had a rough. Yeah, he had a rough first half. Honestly, a rough 3 quarters offensively. I thought defensively he was good, pretty much the whole night. But that fourth quarter from him, they needed everything he gave them, and that block was. That was. When Vooch catches that, I'm like, fuck. I was like, we're really about to lose
to a Vooch game winner.
Yeah, a buzzer beater by fucking Vooch. Are you kidding me? Give me a break, dude. But yeah, that was huge, man. I honestly couldn't even believe he.
Blocked it.
I know he's got.
I thought he was gonna be a foul.
Yeah,
I legitimately thought it was gonna be a foul, and I was like, "Are we gonna fucking lose to this team on a foul again?" I was gonna be so mad. That's the kind of mad that even if we beat the Cavs, I still would have been like, "We fucking lost to the Bulls on a Vooch foul like that." I'm so glad we didn't have to deal with that shit. Losing to if we lose to Kobe White, all right, I get it. It's happened before. He just hates us. If we lose to Josh Giddey, I get it. It's the fucking Giddey buff in the Garden. Losing to Vooch, that's demeaning.
Who shouldn't even be on the fucking team? Why is he
exactly?
Why is he on the Bulls? I have no idea. This Bulls team is so fucking dumb. I can't stand them. The fact that Kobe White is still on this team makes no sense to me. You probably could have gotten maybe they're not great first. We probably could have gotten 2 firsts for him at this year's deadline from somebody. And instead you hold on to him. This was going to be his peak value because he's still got a year left on his contract after this. So you would have gotten him for a year and a half, right? For a team acquiring him before you have to pay him. I have no idea why he's still on this team. They have no idea.
You have to pay Josh Giddey.
Yeah. I guess if he doesn't play it, look, we need to go get Josh Giddey.
No,
Leon needs to get him and only play him at home games. This guy would be like the greatest sixth man of all time.
I do not want Josh Giddey anywhere near the Garden. I don't want Josh.
We certainly can't have him be around when the Garden of Dreams Foundation is doing their thing.
We can't have him around on Sunday matinees. We can't have do you want Josh Giddey around the Knicks City Kids? Like, have we considered the ramifications of that? Why would you put Josh Giddey in an environment where he starts fucking acting like the Green Goblin? What? I don't want that. I don't want that at all. Are there any schools there, Emerson? I'm scared.
It's pretty close to Penn.
He's gonna hear 32nd and 7th Ave, and he's gonna go 7. Ooh, like I don't want that.
It's pretty close to Penn Station, so dangerous.
Oh my god.
All right. JL says Brunson passing up an open 3 with 2 minutes left in overtime to run clock, prevent offense is the devil.
That's prevent Brunson.
Yeah, that. I don't know where I actually fall on that because it felt like that was a pretty disjointed play. That was the play where they got a turnover. Deuce takes it off a layup. McCall is able to keep the ball. Yo, one thing though with McCall today, I don't know what was going on with him. This guy would like get loose balls in these congested areas, but then he would just like act.
Lose the ball.
Yeah, well, he was acting like nobody else was around him. He did this like 3 or 4 times in the game. It's like, dude, can you be fucking strong with the ball right now and act like understand there's 3 defenders around you? Anyway, the ball gets knocked away from him and it rolls out perfectly to Brunson. I don't know. I think you're right, but I also can understand the decision to just be like, no, like let's settle down and get like a quality possession here. And they ended up scoring on that, didn't they? Wasn't that the one where Cat kind of he front rimmed and then it bounced in that midi to put us up 7? I think we scored on that play.
Is that the play where Brunson traveled?
No, that was fucking ridiculous.
It probably blends in, but like, yeah, what the?
Let's do this. What was your favorite CTE play of the game from the Knicks?
That's a hard one because there's so many that happen per game because Precious starts. Precious taking that 3 in overtime that like clanked for whatever reason. He decided, yep, gotta fire this bitch. It wasn't even close.
I think my favorite was it at the end of regulation where the ball, like it's a loose ball. It's a rebound, and Cat kind of hits it, and it hits off of Io, off the back of his foot, and it's going out of bounds. Like it's clearly going out of bounds, and it's clearly, it's clearly off of Io. Okay, it's clearly off Io. This was the play. This was the play. It was 102, 101. This is the play that Vooch hit the 3-pointer on. Yes. So it's right before, like the ball's clear. Like it was so obvious it was off of Giddey. Precious fucking dives on this thing, like
get out the way.
Yeah, just fucking dives on it. Yeah, and like rolls out of bounds. It was, and then it gives up the fucking 3, like on the right, like right after that. Can't get over and contest Vooch well. So Vooch cans the 3. I was just like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. And there were a lot of these like weird loose ball moments in this game. There was one in overtime where like Kobe White's driving. He dribbles it off his foot. It's 100% going to go out, but it randomly hits off of Mikal Bridges and then deflects out off the sideline. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like all these stupid plays are the right. It was a very CT game. But the Brunson travel was pretty. I was just like, there's no way you picked up a fucking travel trying to foul bait on a play you were never going to draw a foul on. And then, the other part of that play was hilarious is Cat and Precious just like walking up the floor. They're just like walking up the floor. Like, you're like, you want to show some fucking urgency here, guys? Hilarious game.
I think there was another one where like Cat is like, I think it's in overtime and Cat is driving down the lane and he thinks he gets fouled and he goes, foul! and then the foul doesn't get called, and I'm pretty sure it's a turnover because he just like had his arms up and decided the play was dead, and then it's Bulls ball. So there was a lot of CTE. Josh was not playing in the lineup, but he was certainly there in spirit because the Knicks actively had CTE.
Yeah, it was. Whew. You think Josh is gonna get his braids done before the game tomorrow?
Probably. Knowing Josh.
We'll see. Maybe it'd be really funny if them and the Cavs travel together. They won in Brooklyn tonight, just in case anybody was wondering. It's from James Edwards III of The Athletic. Tibbs said medical makes the decisions along with player input on if a guy can play. Asked if Anunoby would travel to Cleveland. He said, I believe so. Thanks, Tibbs. Appreciate it.
Well, what do you think is going to happen? Oh. I think it seems pretty clear that like they tried to buy this game against the Bulls, and then they'll probably have Hart and Anunoby both ready for that game. And maybe,
I think Hart 100% will play.
Yeah, Hart will play. I think OG is probably like 85%, and then Mitch is probably the wild one. I would not be surprised if Mitch played.
No, Mitch isn't playing.
I think he's playing. I think he practiced. He had a full practice.
I don't know.
I think there's a shot he plays because I don't think he would play against the Celtics. I think he plays.
Well, we'll find out in less than 24 hours. Jalen Brunson leading all Eastern Conference guards in points. Good job, Brunson.
I will say with the news that unfortunately came from my neighborhood in San Antonio regarding Wemby. I will say that Brunson is probably going to make first team All-NBA. I feel pretty confident about that. I think he ends up getting it.
It'll be him or Cat will probably get it.
Yeah, like I think at that point you probably have to give it to one of them. The only real competition that would exist is Jaren Jackson Jr. when he wins Defensive Player of the Year, but I don't think Jaren Jackson Jr. has a case over either one of them for first team. So yeah, I think Brunson ends up getting first team.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see it, especially if he closes the season strong. Zan Rosen says that Hawk block was massive. It was. That was a great play. That was another fucking annoying play because he blocks it, and it's like Payne is about to grab it. He's about to grab it, and it bounces off of the back of Bridges' foot and rolls out of bounds. So that was another. And then they scored in the next fucking possession because God knows what Payne was doing on the inbounds, just like standing 15 feet away from Trey Jones is able to get off some bullshit ass shot. But that said, Hukporti was. It was just impressive to see him like be that active, and we've seen him in previous games, especially early in the season, where you could see like the athleticism, the size, you could see those things, but his mental understanding of like defensive rotations and all that kind of stuff was not there. Today felt very, very different. He seemed very locked in. He was calling stuff out. His positioning was really good in defending pick and rolls. So. Look, the Bulls are not the stiffest competition in the league, but for a guy that has barely played to look the way he did in his minutes is highly encouraging.
Yeah, I mean, I think it speaks to how organizationally high they are on him. Clearly, they think he can play. I think Tibbs clearly wants to give him game reps. It's just kind of hard because the Knicks had 5 centers on the roster, and now 4, and they're all healthy or close to being healthy. So it's kind of hard to give him game reps. But yeah, like clearly Hukporti is capable of being an NBA player, playing NBA caliber defense. The rim protection, again, is there. I think the athleticism starts to leap off the screen. Definitely he seems to be moving better. I think he's starting to like anticipate more in the pick and roll. I think he's quite clearly a capable NBA level player and a capable NBA level center, especially defensively. So it'll be good to see how he develops. It'll be good to see what they kind of do without giving him game reps. And yeah, like I'm encouraged by his performance.
Yeah. You just have to kind of like what you're seeing from him. And the Knicks will sign him to an actual NBA contract after this season. So that'll be great. Sorry, moving on. Kevin Danishevsky, I really feel like they're just like, we can beat Chicago without these guys. We'll punt the back-to-back versus the Cavs and have Hart OG back for the Celtics. Could be wrong.
I don't think the Knicks are punting that game against the Cavs.
I don't think they're going to punt that game against Cavs, but I do agree that they probably are like, we can beat Chicago without Hart and OG. We have a back-to-back. Let's save them for that. And they didn't play the front end. It was great for the Knicks to get this win, by the way, just because they're still now 5.5 games, 6 in the loss column ahead of the Pacers. Pacers smoked. I mean, that was a very weird game they had against the Grizzlies today, but they smoked them. So good for the Knicks to get this one and kind of not lose any ground there.
Oh, also sole possession of the 4th best record in the NBA, and one step closer to 40 before 20. That's the goal, 40 before 20.
Yep, they need 3 more wins, and I don't think it's going to happen. I have a pretty
little faith.
I do have little faith about this one very particular thing. Sorry, moving on. Zach Halilovic says, Cat is sometimes so embarrassing to watch.
We'll have to watch him next year when Giannis is on the team.
I thought Cat, his first quarter today that might have been the worst quarter he's played all season. Some of his defense in the third quarter was hilarious, where he's just like, it's like, dude, get your fucking hand up. Like, I just don't understand this thing where he just can't put his hands up on defense. It'll never make sense to me.
It's very interesting to see Cat play defense, especially when he has to defend against shooters. He Julius's, where he just never puts his hand up, or when he does put his hand up, it's like the late closeout where he's like, "Oh yeah, I tried," and it's like the ball's halfway to the rim, dude. You did not try.
Yeah, it's not wonderful to see some of his closeout attempts. Feel like you could do a little bit better there, pal. Just me though. Sorry. Trying to get to some more comments. Neo Schmidt says Towns looked lost on defense and couldn't get a hand up. Need him more focused in the playoffs. I agree. I mean, nothing controversial here. Kevin Danishevsky, one place where Tyrese and I are on the same page. Precious is a nice salary slot that can maybe help us get to a $20 to $25 million player this offseason. Not sure he's a real NBA player. I think he's a real NBA player, but he's like an 10th, 11th type guy. He's not if you're starting 4, if he's starting at any capacity, there's a problem. But if he's your starting 4, that's definitely not ideal. And I think he led the team in minutes played tonight, right? So obviously not what you want. But with guys being out, you can kind of understand it more. But I tend to agree. I think Precious has given us whatever value you can possibly get from Precious Achiuwa. But if the Knicks can use him productively to get a wing, get another creator, get a backup 5 or something that they really like, if they can use him productively, then they should definitely go for
it. Yeah, I don't think Precious should be on the team next season. I think it's very clear that Tom Thibodeau thinks Precious is something that he isn't, and he does not use him optimally with OG out of the lineup. I think he thinks he's a wing. He's not a wing. He's a big. I think he's a serviceable backup 5. He clearly does not give you better rim protection than someone like Mitch. I don't think he has the cost control ability of someone like Huck Porty. I think both of them next to Cat means that you can actually play Cat as the 4 versus Precious, where it's really Precious at the 4 and Cat at the 5. So it's like you don't really get any benefit of playing Cat at the 5, but you also don't get any benefit of playing Cat next to a big man. It's a very peculiar fit. He clearly doesn't fit with Josh Hart. I think I think he just needs to be away from Tibbs, because I don't think Tibbs can use him correctly unless both of the wings are there. And even still, he finds ways to use him suboptimally. I just don't think he's a player that Tibbs can actively optimize. And he falls into the long line of guys like Taj Gibson, Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier as guys that I would rather watch paint dry than play on this team. So,
yeah. Sorry. Bosker says Delon Wright already is a more valuable Knick than Jericho Sims.
Please respect Sims FC.
No, we're not going to do that here.
Look at do the knowledge. Look at the data. Sims was good.
Sure, yeah. Sims is good, but Deuce McBride is Satan is certainly a interesting place to be.
I never said he was Satan. I just said he was garbage. Satan is a little harsh. I think he's a God-fearing man. You could be God-fearing man and ass, but that's fine.
Bucks won today. Somehow they beat the Clippers, so good for them, I guess.
All right, sure. The 1-0 in the Bobby Portis head scandal.
that was such a crazy story. Ace Bouchard asks, "Is Matas Bustzelis, as he put it, any good?"
No.
He's definitely not good right now. Although he did hit it he did manage to hit 1-3 in this game, which was one too many as far as I'm concerned.
I just don't know where the appeal is going to come from with him. I just don't see it. Like, I think you're basically asking him to be like someone with legitimate creation upside, and I have never seen it. I think he's just tall, and if you squint, he looks like Cooper Fly. But
he's athletic. Give him that.
Not in the dunk contest, but
I mean, that shows. He was a DEI admission to the dunk contest.
In fact, him and Andre Jackson Jr. were DEI admissions, and Mac McClung was a DEI slam dunk 3-peat champion. The entire contest was DEI except for Stephon Castle. Stephon Castle actually showed up and actually did some good shit. But apparently, we're gonna have the All-Star dunk contest next year. We always talked about it. Oh, we're gonna have the All-Star dunk contest. It's gonna be Ja. It's gonna be Giannis. It's gonna be Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine. And then next year we were going to see fucking the Thompson twins.
Yeah, we're not gonna get. We'll be lucky if we get like one of those guys to do it.
Aaron Gordon has had like multiple knee surgeries. I'm pretty sure he cannot bounce the same way, but whatever.
Zach LaVine can, which is crazy considering the surgeries he's had. But I mean, he was a great dunk contest participant, so it'd be cool for him to do it again for sure. Jordan Bub asks, thoughts on Giannis rumors to Knicks is that something that media sports books are drumming up for engagement, or is there some sort of leverage fight, or is there some sort of truth in all of this mess?
All right, shut the fuck up. It's my time. All right. Respectfully, shut the fuck up. Help you, buddy. Okay, I've seen a lot of the discourse. Let's get this. Let's get this out the way. An OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson package is not getting Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, with that being established, because apparently that needed to be established. If you're going to trade for Giannis, you're going to trade Cat. And that's fine because it's fucking Giannis. Well, why would you trade Cat when Cat could be the stretch 5 next to Giannis? Cat next to Giannis is not a 5. Offensively or defensively. The entire point of getting Giannis is that you have an elite 2-man pairing with him and Brunson. If you have Cat just exists. He's a spacer. You're not going to pay $50 million for a spacer who you're putting out of position. It makes no sense. Cat doesn't get to do anything on the 5, offensively or defensively. It doesn't make sense. You're asking him to be OG Anunoby, which is essentially hit, catch, and shoot threes, defend on the perimeter, and provide space for Giannis and Brunson. Why would I pay Karl-Anthony Towns $50 million to be OG Anunoby when I have OG Anunoby? It doesn't make any sense. You basically put Cat back to being a 4, which is what we don't want to do because it nukes his value offensively. So in the universe where somehow, some way, OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson are getting Giannis Antetokounmpo, they're not. I don't think that needs to be said, but they're not. You're going to trade Karl. You're going to get Giannis. Well, who's going to play the 5? Maybe the fucking 6'11" dude who has spent 40% of his minutes at the 5 for the last 3 years, and it's probably going to be aging towards the 5 anyway, because rim protecting stretch bigs don't grow on fucking trees. Giannis is going to end up playing the majority of his minutes at the 5. You can play him next to another center, so you could give him the 80 treatment where it's like, okay, if you want to play the minutes next to the 4, you're going to fucking tough it out with Mitch Robinson or Ariel 40 for like 5-minute stretches so you don't bitch and complain.
They should trade for him and then sign Brook in free agency.
You could also do that too. Like, legitimately, you could probably do that as well. But like, but clearly, the guy you give up would be Cat, and it makes no sense to give up OG. But that's my diatribe. That's my speech. You can add to it.
I think there's definitely something to it. I don't think it's like some fucking lock, but the Cat contract obviously puts you in play. I think we can say with some certainty that yes, Leon and Wes and all these guys like Cat. I'm sure they love Cat, but it's not like they were only focused on getting Cat this summer. They needed a center. He's the center they could get, given the assets they had at their disposal. And it was viable because of how cheap Mikal Bridges' contract is, the fact that Brunson took the extension he did. They were able to figure that out. That being said, again, I don't think it's a lock, but obviously his contract puts you in play. And then you also got to look at it from Milwaukee's perspective. Even if they trade Giannis, they've traded out their picks all over the place. So they can't tank. They can't just like decide, all right, we're going to tank now. There's just no way for them to do that. So they still would want good players. Cat might be the best player they could get for Giannis. I mean, I know that, look, again, it doesn't need to be the case. Like, if OKC ever wants to take a fucking chance, they could obviously build a package that would be better than just Cat and some shit. Like, but will they? And
no.
We also have to accept that, like, I guarantee you, if it comes to a point where Giannis goes to their front office and he's like, look, we won everything here. Thanks for building around me and all that shit, but I need to get out of here. I need to move. And like, they're going to honor his request. And I think they'll also give him, like, I don't think he gets to be like, I want to go to the Knicks and nowhere else. But I think he could be like, hey, look, here's a list of like 4 teams that I'm willing to, like, I would be fine getting traded to and I would extend with.
Yeah, he threatened the extension.
Yeah, pick whichever one you want that you can get the best deal from, and let's get this moving. I do think they will give him that respect, that courtesy, because he's earned it. He's won them a championship. He's, he basically put them back on the map in terms of the NBA. So he gets that privilege. He deserves it. But that's kind of the path for Cat. Will it happen? I don't know. But it's definitely clear to me that if Cat is your starting center, that's very untenable defensively, unless you get like a rangy 4 that can rim protect like a Jaren Jackson Jr., which is also probably unlikely, right? Like, it's hard to figure out the next step and who it is and whatever. The Giannis thing doesn't seem like bullshit to me, though. I will just say that. Like, I think there's something there, which is not to say that it is a slam dunk and will happen.
I'll read this from Kevin again. OG Mitch doesn't get it done, but you're acting on Twitter that you'd rather trade Cat than Mitch. OG was absurd. If we do trade Cat, I'd like to get GTG return. GTJ is a free agent on a minimum contract. If you want him, you can get him pretty easily. Yes, I would rather trade Cat than OG and Mitch. The way I view team building now is within the context of the second apron. If you trade Cat, you still have the ability to build within the second apron with Mikal's extension. Because I think Giannis's number is like $1 million higher than Cat's number, which essentially means that you still have the same salary structure as the Knicks currently have, which is a max level contract, 2 mid-level contracts with Brunson and Bridges eventually, and then OG, who's like the 25% max essentially. You could do a 35%, 25%, and then like 20% deals. Josh Hart is on a club option by the time that all that would happen. So my point becomes, it makes no sense to have 35% maxes on the team because the second apron is going to nuke it. You're basically going to have to trade Karl-Anthony Towns in a year anyway, which is the entire reason why Karl-Anthony Towns is a Knick in the first place. The second apron basically forced the Wolves' hand, and you can talk about ownership and you can talk about the sale or whatever, but ultimately speaking, they were in the second apron. The Knicks don't want to be in the second apron. They actively do not want to be in the second apron, and Brunson Sunday, they're not going to be in the second apron. We had this conversation in Discord.
Yeah, no, I'm saying like I think there's a point where they would be fine going into the second apron, but they're not at that point yet.
Yeah, but like the entire point is that Karl-Anthony Towns making 30% of the cap in a context where he is your third best player and he ultimately does not get the same usage that he would normally get because he's playing the 4 does not make sense for team building. It's a gross allocation of resources because you aren't optimizing CAD and you aren't optimizing your payroll. I think payroll is just fucking baseball. You're not optimizing your salary cap underneath the second apron. So you're creating a situation where you would have to trade CAT anyway in order to get rotation talent. Not to mention, straight up, like, theoretically speaking, you're trading 2 rotation players and maybe like 4,000 minutes of basketball for
4,000. You think Mitch is giving you 1,500 a year?
I mean, optimistically. But yeah, like you're trading 2 rotation players for 1 rotation player, and then you're creating a situation where you can trade 1 rotation player for 2 rotation players. It makes no sense. You're just doing a roundabout way. Like
and we'll see what it looks like when Mitch is back. Like maybe we're all fucking wrong, and Mitch and Cat together are going to be so fucking dominant that we don't need to do any of their shit. Who knows? Like, but what I also think is interesting about this, which I don't know if you brought this up. I don't think you did. Cat is actually extension eligible after the season.
Yes.
So if Giannis, so that actually could be appealing to Milwaukee because they're like, all right, well, we'll pay you. Like, would you take it? So if he would take it, and I think he probably would take an extension even if it was in Milwaukee, like that could be appealing to them in a way that it might not be appealing to other teams having to deal with that. So there's a lot of stuff there.
No, they still have Dame. Like,
yeah,
Dame and Cat is going to be a playoff team. So, yeah, that's how I feel about it.
And they have Kuzma.
I forgot they have Kuzma. Just give me one more year, Giannis. Give me one more year.
Ian Begley says he gave us energy. That was big for us. He's giving up size, but he's a fierce competitor. He did compete tonight for sure. No question about that. Dame Cat pick and roll defense would be certainly something to behold. MW says Josh Giddey's averaging 20, 10, and 9 in his career at MSG. This is a fucking joke, man. Give me a break with this guy. Kevin Danishevsky says Deuce has played 67 possessions with the starters this year. At least give it a try. I'm assuming this is in place of Hart. Yeah, I mean, it should play more. It should have gotten more minutes by now. It hasn't. I think that's a mistake on Tibbs' part. I don't really know what else there is to say. Like, you don't need, again, we don't need to go back to this. We've talked about this in this post game. We talked about it before. Like, you don't need to start Deuce to mix and match him more. So just do that, please, for the love of God. Zan Rosen agrees with us. Precious diving for the ball, obviously. Nemo Petiter says, pretty funny section. Make this CTE favorite play a frequent one. It is a good segment. I think we should make this daily.
The daily CTE ball and who's going to get their game off. We need that graphics. That's what we need. We need graphics that.
Yeah, well, Zach is he's lazy, so he doesn't do any of this shit for us.
Agreed.
Nemo Petiter says, Huck Mitch line up tomorrow. Let's go.
That's so nasty, Nemo.
Neo Schmidt says, this play was fucking ridiculous. Cat passing up a shot to Precious, who nearly traveled on the basket and somehow got a kickball out of it, was my favorite moment.
I said what I said, Zach.
That play was a play.
That entire overtime was just Benny Hill music. And somehow, some way.
Dude, we went from 113-106. The Bulls are like fumbling over themselves. We're about to close it out to, it's a 2-point game and we need to play this impeccable defensive possession with 8.2 seconds left to close it out, which we did. But yeah, I would just like the team to like blow out one of these teams, these bad teams at MSG again. That would be nice.
I miss when we used to blow out teams. I miss when the room smelled like latex and rose petals. It doesn't smell like that anymore.
I think I would like it, and I think I deserve it.
What was our last blowout? Actually, was it against
the Pacers game? The Pacers game was kind of a blowout.
Oh, at home. I should have said at home.
Was it the Grizzlies game? Probably.
Yeah, I think it was the Grizzlies game. Yeah, it was the Grizzlies game.
This is from Mikal Bridges. Try to be aggressive, not foul him, not let him score. I think he helped me out by using his right hand. Mikal Bridges to Bill Pito on his game-saving block of Nikola Vucevic. It's a great play. Talk your shit, Mikal. Shoot adventure. Ryan brought up already, but how about your boy Deuce tonight, Tyrese? Then we'll get to this. Yeah, I've said it before. Precious has literally never been a positive in any advanced impact stat in a single season. He's a guy. I mean, he is a guy. He's what he is. He's your 10th, 11th guy, 9th even. You can roll with that. But when you put him into these 46-minute like nights, it's just you're just trying to like not have him CTE you into a loss. But he had like he has the funniest games because he'll have like these stretches where you're like, are you the fucking worst player in the league? And then within the same game, he'll make plays that you're like, that was awesome. That was really good.
Do that more.
Yeah, it was. Well, like even in overtime was a perfect example. Him and Mikal were like switching everything. They're doing a good job, basically. Kobe White comes off the screen. Precious just has his hands down. So Kobe White walks into a three, drains that, makes it a 2-point game. And then like the next possession for Chicago is the closing possession of the game, and that he played perfect defense on Kobe White in that. Like he completely stopped the drive. He closed out to the three, got him up in the air. Like, and you're like, why? How does your brain work? Like, I just don't understand these wild swings with him. But look, I think at the end, like, you just have to be kind of tip your cap to he's giving you what he possibly can give you. And, if Tibbs plays him less, I think you can appreciate more what he does when he plays so much. And tonight I thought it was weird where it's just like, you just committed to playing double bigs the whole game. Yeah, I don't know. To me, that it's more about Tibbs than it is about Precious because we kind of know what Precious is.
Bad.
He's a guy. He's just a guy.
Don't let the DEPM fool you. You look at cleaning the glass. It's legitimately just all blue. It's so funny. He's the funniest player in the rotation. It's all blue. I think he finally got to like 50%, like the 50th percentile on like points per shot attempt. And I don't think you understand. Like for Precious, that's legitimately like a godsend.
It's a career season.
Yes, this is the best season of Precious' career. He's literally being optimized, and he's still this bad.
Kevin Danishevsky says Benji compared Precious to a fifth starter, and Jordan Lyles is a great comp. Is this a baseball thing? Jordan Lyles.
Yeah, I think Jordan Lyles is a baseball. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, he's the guy that goes into the bullpen in the playoffs.
Yeah, he is. Let me use a Yankees reference. He's your Marcus Stroman.
What a guy. Judah Bencher. If Tibbs is still the coach next year, the front office has to get rid of or just not sign Precious because Tibbs is addicted to him.
Yes, agreed.
Ashmaster says Tyrese Halliburton was DEI All-Star last year. I would say he deserved All-Star, DEI All-NBA, though, for sure.
DEI the last year of his career. I'm sorry. DEI Olympic gold medal. DEI All-NBA third team for whatever reason because he spent...
Watching him in Court of Gold, I was just like, fuck this guy, man.
What do you do?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, I'm not watching Court of Gold for Tyrese Halliburton.
Also, like Tatum didn't play, right? So he just isn't in the documentary, basically. But I'm like, that's what should have fucking happened to Haliburton. He didn't play. Why are we talking to Tyrese Haliburton? And I got to hear all this bullshit about it. He's like acting like he's one of the guys. I'm like, you were Christian Laettner, bro. Get the fuck out of my face. Get out of here. Not having it.
He's not even Christian. He's JaVale McGee in the 2021 Olympic team. Like, McGee you're just there.
Probably did more for that team.
Honestly, yeah.
A disgrace to the name Tyrese, if you ask me.
Yeah, there are no good Tyreses in the league, unfortunately.
Sad state of affairs. Andrew Abraham, a fully healthy Knicks team is versatile on both ends of the floor. They should be. It's kind of like this has been the frustration, I think, for a lot of fans, myself included. I think Tyrese as well, but I don't want to speak for him. Again, and this goes like you can bring it back to like the main what we've talked about on this post game about using Deuce more in different lineups, but like that is a small kind of element to what you're talking to not embracing the full versatility that is available to them. Now, that being said, I do think there's some stuff like, again, I think Deuce probably was not anywhere near 100% prior to like the week before All-Star break. He didn't look like he was moving anywhere near as well this year to me. We know he missed time twice with like lower body injuries and stuff this season. So maybe that's part of it, and he's going to lean into this more to close the season out. But he has to do it. But I don't disagree with what you're saying.
Yeah, I agree. I do think they're pretty versatile. I do think they have potential. I don't think they're going to win the championship this year, but I do think they have the ability to give a team like the Celtics a competitive series. And if you could buy out gracefully, I will take that. They will beat the rocks off of Cleveland. I don't care about Evan Mobley and Darius Garland in a playoff setting.
Got you, Zach. Took care of it. Sorry, going here. Mikal Bridges against anybody in the NBA. I know if he's defending him, it's going to be a tough night. Shout out to him doing what he does best in the biggest play of the game. Cat to Alan Hahn on Bridges' block at the buzzer that sent the game to overtime where the Knicks beat Chicago. Do you think Cat was also like, yo, we them boys? We them boys.
I don't know why, but ever since he said that, you've been like...
So he's so funny, man. He's just like, you got the full fucking Cat experience today. Just horrendous first quarter. You get the fucking all that shit. Monster third quarter. Where he looked like the greatest offensive player in the NBA in the third quarter. You had all of it. Today was definitely a full Carl Anthony experience.
Very agreed.
Zen Rosen says Schwinn is the cat of the Strickland.
And I am the Jalen Brunson, the floor general.
You're the floor general?
The leader, the captain.
I don't know. I don't think the floor general would be running agendas against players on the team. Not sure that's how floor generals work. You think Brunson has an agenda against like campaign or something?
He has an agenda against Josh Hart. I think Brunson has agendas. He just doesn't say them out loud. Like, you think he played with Cam Reddish? It's like, oh yeah, I like this dude.
Oh no, I think
he hated Cam Reddish, and I think he absolutely hated Grimes' guts.
There was a pod, I forget what episode or whatever it was, listening to them over the summer on their fucking show, and they talked about they were talking about guys that had obviously played but not on the Knicks anymore, and you could hear that they're they clearly are fond of Hartenstein, of Quickly. I think RJ, I don't think they loved him, but I don't think they hated him even. And I almost think they understood RJ's kind of frustration with his role in New York, right? I think they get that. You could tell Josh Hart when he's talking about Grimes, he's just like, yeah, that fucking guy, man. Sure, bud.
He's like, all right, dude. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, but I get it from his perspective because Josh Hart was he was the 27th or 28th pick in the draft. Whatever he was. He had to. I mean, he literally got traded as just like a throw into the Anthony Davis trade from the Lakers. He gets thrown in to a trade to the Blazers just to make the money work after signing the most bullshit ass contract from the Pelicans. So he plays with on the Blazers for like a year, and that team is just blatantly tanking and not competing over that time. Like he had to fight for his place in the league. He bounced around. He was never handed a starting spot. You know what I mean? Like for him to probably experience Grimes, like just turning into a basket case because the Knicks had the audacity to try and upgrade their roster and sign Dante DiVincenzo is nuts. I can't even imagine how fucking annoyed he probably was by that. So, yeah, look, I'm happy. Look, Grimes is he's getting a lot of minutes now though for a really fun team in Philly, so he can enjoy that.
Whole lot of winning.
Yeah, they're still a game back of the Bulls for the 10th spot.
Daryl Morey.
Jalen Brunson talks about Deuce McBride's success in the Knicks starting lineup tonight. Very proud of him. Very happy for him. Just love seeing him out there whenever he's out there. Yeah, it was just good to see him, like, because he did get hurt in that final game before the All-Star break. He missed the second half of it. So it's just good to see him, like, not look like he was still struggling with whatever he was struggling with that game. So good to see. San Rosen says Tyrese is Miles. Yep, I agree.
I think I'm more of an integral piece than Miles, James McBride.
His middle name is James.
Middle name is James.
Wow. Deuce is much better. Zach Kolilovich, Lonzo was our best player today. I thought he played well in the first.
He wants to be a Knick so bad.
Yeah, dude, that fucking fourth quarter. That fourth quarter close from him was just bizarre. I don't know what that was. It was certainly something. Jordan Bubb asked your thoughts on LeBron's stalker / PR mouthpiece, aka Windy, and the Knicks are a real good regular season team, not a good postseason team like Cavs. The squeak by the Magic in 7 games last year. I don't know. I don't really have thoughts about it. I'll be honest with you. My honest take on this is that it's on the Knicks to like prove that they are solid enough defensively in the postseason that they can play against the best teams and it be competitive. But we can also be honest and say, like, it's not like Windy's alone in this, right? Like, there are Knicks fans that think this. That's why every time we lose to one of these, Cleveland or OKC or
it's a
Boston,
referendum.
And granted, yeah, it's like a huge referendum on the team. It's like this, holy shit, we gave up all these picks. We have no more flexibility. We're fucked forever. Like, he's not the only guy that thinks this. I don't think it's like, I honestly did not think this was much of a hot take. I think it's like a opinion that a lot of people share. Do I think that? No, I don't. I personally, as good as Cleveland is, I think that matchup is actually still good for us. Boston, to me, is our worst matchup. I have no real clear idea of how we would go about beating them over a 7-game series, given the challenges they present. But Cleveland, to me, is not that. They're very good. They're definitely better than they were when we played them in the playoffs years ago. They're definitely better than they were last year in the playoffs. I think they're a legitimately good team. I think they're a legitimately competitive team. But I do not think they are unbeatable for the Knicks at all. I think that would be a very competitive series, and I think the Knicks have a solid chance of winning a series against them.
It's Darius Garland in the playoffs, bro. Who the fuck is concerned?
I don't even care about that, dude. Give me Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs. That guy he's got the biggest hero complex ever. As soon as he gets in the
Donovan Mitchell's going to shoot them out of the game, and Darius Garland can't shoot enough to put them back in the game. And then Evan Mobley is going to like take a 3 from the corner, and it's going to fucking brick. And then Jared Allen's going to be like, "Oh, I have to rebound, and then I can't rebound against their front court."
Oh, Mitch is such a good rebounder.
I'm a fucking nerd.
Yeah, look, I mean, Knicks fans they can be mad about it. I just really did not care about it at all. I was just like, all right, whatever, that's fine.
If the Knicks win tomorrow, expect me to get some receipts off. Just hope they win tomorrow. I really hope they win tomorrow.
I will just at this point take them not coming out of the gates tomorrow and looking like they're fucking on crack, like they did the last game against Oklahoma City and the last game against Boston. That would be fantastic. I will take that. It would also be nice if Josh Hart does not play the worst game of his entire career or something like he did against Boston. I have no fucking clue what that was. Shesky says Grimes and Paul George deserve each other.
He's going to be in the podcast this summer, and I know it. I just know he's going to be in the podcast this summer, and it's going to be the worst episode. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to hate watch it.
Fun fact, I don't think Mikal Bridges. Paul George hasn't scored 20 in like a month now. Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges, big defensive stop on Nikola Vucevic. I don't doubt Mikal Bridges against anybody in the NBA. I knew that. If he's defending them, it's going to be a tough night.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. Karl, at the end of the day, whatever deficiencies he has as a player, he is a great teammate, and that goes a long way to getting people to kind of fuck with you. Kevin Danishevsky asks, can we Jedi mind trick Masai into giving us IQ back from Mitch, Josh Hart? Traded for Ingram spacing, why not go all the way? And then Jedi mind trick Tibbs into starting quickly. I don't think he's ever starting quickly if he didn't do it while he was here the first time. I don't think they're ever going to trade I don't think they're going to trade Josh Hart unless it's for a superstar, like, quite honestly. And as far as quickly goes, you got to wait for him to be like in that last 18 months of his contract, and then he'll get salary dumped, and then we'll bring him home.
I am very good on Emmanuel Quickley's contract. I am very good on Emmanuel Quickley. It's been a year. I can say it. He benefited from being the guy that plays in place of RJ Barrett, and he's not that good. But I'm not trading for $32 million of Emmanuel Quickley.
Yeah, I think that he was good and independent of RJ Barrett. But
he's not Joe Keckian on-off numbers good, and that's fine. Nobody is.
Well, yeah, that was obviously juiced by RJ, but the team was actually good when he was on the floor. So yeah, it's like
I think he's a good player. I don't think he's worth $32 million.
I will say though, like, I think in general that Raptors team is a great team to try and poach. Yeah, because I don't think they have any idea what the fuck they're doing. I haven't seen a single player on their team get maximized other than like arguably RJ Barrett, which is a waste of time. They're definitely muting the impact of players on their team. I think that's like look at everybody they've traded, right? Van Vliet, he leaves. He's been good for Houston. OG clearly was way better for us last year than he was for the Raptors. Now, some of that might have been he was quiet quitting, but I was thinking he's quiet quitting because he's like, I fucking hate what we're doing, and I don't want to be like playing off of franchise player Scotty Barnes. Like, why are we handing this guy the fucking keys? Pascal, massive leap since he left Toronto as a shooter, especially, but just in general, better player. There's something going on there. It wouldn't surprise me if Bruce Brown ends up wherever he ends up. I mean, he's in New Orleans right now, but if he ends up somewhere else in the offseason,
he'll be a Nick.
And next year he's like much better than he played in Toronto the entire time he was there. I just think they're off. Something is off there. There's no way a team that has like Jakob Poeltl playing at the level he is should be that atrocious defensively, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. All
right. Zan Rosen says, I do miss IQ. I miss him too, but it's all right. Knicks are good, and
it's for the best.
And he got paid, so good for him. He wasn't going to get paid here.
Sometimes you just got to let him go. Sometimes it's 2 a.m. at the bar. You're having a great conversation, and you think, you know what? I can get her number, and I can, text her the next morning. And sometimes you just leave it there. Sometimes you go, you know what? It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
What is the scenario where you're having a great conversation and you decide it's not worth it? I want to know what the scenario is.
I will tell you when you're older. All right.
I'm very curious about this now.
No, you're not.
All right. I think that's a good place to end this. Thanks to everybody that rocked out with us in the chat. Thank you for all the comments. Appreciate it. Tyrese, anything you want to plug before you get out of here?
My Twitter, at FBL_Sam. I'm having great commentary tonight. Dude, Sam's tweets are fucking hilarious. He can't stop typoing.
Yeah, he should probably not. He deserves one more drink, I think.
Yeah, just look at Sam's timeline and just laugh to yourself. That's a good plug.
At some point, Sam will do a post game again. We don't know when, but it'll happen at some point. I have nothing to plug. I'll be recording a Strickland roll pod tomorrow. We'll be doing a fun little exercise on there. And then me and Prez will be recording Pod Strickland on Saturday morning. So that'll be out over the weekend. So keep an eye out on that stuff. Other than that, thank you to our sponsor, Bet Online. Thanks to everybody again in the comments that rocked out with us. We appreciate all your comments and support. All right, that is a show. Knicks play Cleveland tomorrow. So hopefully they get a win. That would be nice. All right. Peace.